Hi. So today I wanted to do a meditation check-in. These are really good to do. It's a good habit to start getting into if you aren't already doing it. Um, I'm sure you're aware, well, maybe you're not. Meditation isn't as easy to quantify as far as results go as it is with a lot of other things in our lives, right? A lot of other areas, we have graphs, we have metrics, we have, your income level, your education level, right? There's like a very outward representation of your progress or quote unquote success, right? So it's much different in meditation. You have to take a much different approach to looking at and seeing your progress. One of the ways to do this is with a check-in. So there are a lot of different check-ins that I do. Um, when I'm doing a 1,000 day kriya set, my check-ins are much different. I don't need check-ins for the first 120 days because I'm pretty solid with those. So I don't do as many check-ins. Now, that being said, for each milestone, I'm doing a check-in. I'm making sure, okay, is this still what's needed? Yep. Okay, cool. Moving forward. I'm not necessarily checking anything else other than checking in, okay, do I still need to maintain the 1,000 days? Yep, cool. Continuing forward. Happens at 40 days, happens at 90 days, and then again at 120, do I really need to go for the 1,000 days? Yep. All right, great. Here we go. Then once I get to day 500, actually even in the 300s, it's starting to get a little rough because there's a lot less um, support, so to speak. I don't have another milestone for a while. There isn't 500 day. So I created that for myself when I do 1,000 day kriyas or meditations. I've just added in a 500-day milestone. Nope, it's not in any of the literature. Nope, it's not celebrated anywhere else. So I made it a point to celebrate that because it is a huge milestone. Nope, can't find any literature referencing the benefits associated with 500 days. What I can tell you is that at 500 days, I feel much more elevated. And then depending on, the meditation, the circumstance, the kriya, what I'm working on, that type of thing, I take those factors into consideration. Just overall, I feel more energized, I feel more grounded. It's I feel really empowered that I've made it that far into the practice, right? That I've maintained it. So that's one of the things that I start with. Is this still needed? Do I still need to maintain this kriya or meditation or this practice? Yep. Okay, cool. Moving forward. And then a good question to ask yourself is when you do your check-ins, okay, what progress am I seeing? What am I noticing? Do I feel more elevated? Do I feel more grounded? Let's say you're working on depression. Am I noticing less depressive moments? Maybe you're dealing with anxiety. Am I noticing the easing of my anxiety? And then bring it into context for yourself, right? So, are there certain circumstances where your anxiety is going to go off? Going in, this is going to be rough as far as my levels of anxiety. Are you noticing an improvement there? Maybe you're just working on self-love. How are you doing with that? Are you noticing improvement with being more loving towards yourself in a variety of ways, right? In various aspects of your life. And then something also to consider is where are you still struggling? This is important. It matters that you look at, okay, so here is where I'm seeing progress. These are the ways that I'm seeing it. Write it down, whether it's actually in a notebook, it's in your phone, it's on a spreadsheet, it's in picture form. You want to create a collage, however you want to do it, right? You want to paint it out, you want to draw it out. Cool. Just make sure that you're documenting it in whatever way that shows up for you, however that resonates with you. There is no right or wrong. So just make sure that you're making note of the progress. And then, okay, so where am I still struggling? What areas am I seeing that are still either they feel the same or they look the same? So the distinction here for me when I look at this is okay, so I feel like I'm in a similar state as maybe a past circumstance, right? So it can look the same even though it's not. So that similar circumstance, maybe I was younger. I'm obviously not the same person now I was a year ago or even 6 months ago. Something to keep in mind. That's true for you, it's true for all of us, right? There have been a lot of changes. So keep that in mind when you're reflecting on these things. And then this feels similar. So the challenge feels similar. And then follow that. Make a note. Okay, so it feels similar in these certain ways. So I have a recurring situation that I'm presently going through, and I'm noticing correlations between childhood things and habits that I've had. Now, the habits and the childhood circumstance, they look similar, right? They don't, there's a feeling of similarity, but it's not, I mean, I can see how I'm handling it differently this time. So the habit may still be there. I can see the reaction wanting to follow that historical precedent that I've set, right? But I'm actually approaching it in a different way. I'm maintaining my meditative practice. I'm maintaining workouts. I'm maintaining loving self care. Those are big differences for me. So when you're looking at where your challenges are, those should factor in. It should be part of what you're reflecting on, right? Because if you're continuing a practice simply because you're told to, or simply because everybody else is saying that it worked for them, or it did this amazing thing and everybody, everything worked out, but you're not noticing any benefits, you're not noticing a progression, or you're losing your connection to it, that's a good indication that something needs to shift. Either you need to bring in another modality to help with the practice. Maybe you need to do visualization meditations instead of Kundalini yoga meditations. Maybe you need the meditation paired with a kriya set. Maybe you need to incorporate tapping. Maybe you need to incorporate the work by Byron Katie, questioning your thoughts. Do you see what I'm saying? There's different layers to this. So it isn't necessarily, oh, just give up, it doesn't work. The reason I say that is when I first started meditating, I kept coming up to the same wall. I practiced all of these different modalities, the work by Byron Katie, tapping, yoga, meditation, visualization, meditation, all these different forms, right? And it was always the same wall that I came up to until I found Kundalini yoga, because I needed the totality. I needed the kriya set, the yoga poses paired with the meditations. Mantras and meditations are really what anchor me, so it really helps me out. That being said, as I progressed further with meditation and I started to reflect and I would stop in between. So, like a 40-day meditation, I made it a point to stop halfway through and ask, okay, what's happening? I didn't wait for the wall to show up. I went out for it. I went looking for that wall. Okay, where is it? What do I need to brace for? Do I need to pivot now? Do I need to pivot from here, from a place of confidence and groundedness, instead of coming up to that wall? Because when you hit the wall, it's exhausting. You it it's just exhausting. I mean, if you keep running into modalities that you feel don't work because you keep running into that same wall, the same obstacle, whatever the issue is, however it shows up for you, right? It's demoralizing. And I get it. So these check-ins are a way for you to say, okay, do I need to bring in tapping? Do I need to bring in questioning my thoughts? Circling back to my point. When I noticed that a wall was coming up, or I noticed that there was going to be a bigger challenge within myself, whether I started to feel more anxious, I really wanted to give up, I knew that I needed more support in those moments. So to get through the rest of that meditation and not give up, I started adding in tapping. I paired it with another meditation. I paired it with questioning my thoughts, different layers, right? Because layering helps. It gives you that extra support. It gives you that needed boost when you're coming up to heaviness. So I wanted to talk about check-ins because they are very important. I am trying to put together like a little checklist just to kind of help, because I know that when I was doing this, when I first started doing this, it helped to have a checklist. So I'm working on putting that together. So if you are someone that is benefited by checklists, I'll try to post that at a later time. And then finally, I have my notes here to make sure I covered each topic. Um, and then with the challenges, and they're kind of paired together, at least that's the way I do it. What else is needed, right? So it falls in line with, okay, do I need to add in another meditation? Do I need another supportive? Maybe it's a support group, right? Maybe it's a therapy session. Maybe it's a doctor's appointment. You know what I mean? But what else is needed in this moment to help me heal this point moving forward, right? So that I move forward stronger, that I move forward elevated and healthy so that I can help other people with it. Um, and then to do monthly check-ins. So moving forward, I do want to add in a monthly check-in on the channel just as a reminder that, okay, so how are we doing with the meditative practice? Do we feel this is still what's needed? Are we still feeling confident with this? Maybe we need an added tapping, that type of thing, just as a reminder, because like I said, meditation doesn't really have the type of outward metrics necessarily. You're not always going to see your progress with meditation or a meditative practice as an outward beautifying, if you will. You're not necessarily seeing the shifts outwardly immediately or even within a couple months. So that can be frustrating, especially within the world that we live in where instant gratification is kind of where everything is. So just wanted to touch base on ensuring that you do check-ins, that you check in with yourself. And with the check-ins, please give yourself some self-love. Give yourself a shout out. Say thank you for your practice. I'm proud of myself for showing up today. I really did not want to sit down and meditate. I'm proud of myself for maintaining my practice. It's a big deal. It is. You may not hear it very often, you may not hear it at all. What you're doing with meditative practice, whatever type of meditative practice it is, it's a phenomenal thing you're doing for yourself. So please stop to appreciate that, even if it's just right here that you're stopping to thank yourself, give yourself a hug, let some self love flow up from your heart, and congratulate yourself on your meditative practice because, again, it is a big deal. Your well being, your spiritual, your emotional, your mental, your physical well being, they all matter. And meditation can be a huge boost in that area. So I hope you had a wonderful day, and I will see you soon.